Sully Sylvester, the Cubic Kid, and the Jaeger.
What was that?
Sorry, I got excited. Because we're back! We're the Final Fantasy!
Oh, I get it now.
What could you possibly get, Jaeger boy?
I got the picture with all the Xboxes in their packaging.
Oh, you know the one Xbox X?
Yeah, that one.
It's one Xbox, one Xbox box, one Xbox,
one
box.
One Xbox, one box, one Xbox, one X, one Xbox, one Xbox.
It's just a bunch of pictures of Xboxes next to boxes. Until they finally, at the max, they hit the peak! The climax is one Xbox, one Xbox!
So dumb.
2017 is going great.
So they had the Xbox 360. Then they made the Xbox, quote unquote, One. Now they're jumping to Xbox 10.
One Xbox 110.
Yeah, it's an Xbox 110.
In Final Fantasy terms.
You know what I'm excited for?
Huh?
The
So it's an
Xbox One
Xbox
X2.
So it's an Xbox that's 11 by 11 is what you're saying?
It's 1X.
You know what's going to be great?
What?
Xbox One XI, Xbox One XII, Xbox One XIII, and then you're going to have 13.2.
Yeah.
Xbox
Xbox One 13.3 Lightning Returns.
Xbox Lightning Returns. And then there's going to be Xbox Versus 13 will have been announced, 10 years before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's Project
Versus
Project
Xbox.
Duske.
Yeah.
Project versus Xbox.
And then it's going to become Project Xbox One 15.
That's almost sounding like a Bible or something. Like some kind of religious tome. Verse 1, chapter 15.
Is that your Burns?
And lo, she said, this guy are sick.
These headshots are dope. Arst dope. So, what are we doing in this giant-ass blue tower?
I don't remember.
I've got a better quick question that can be answered quickly.
All right.
Are we all generally of the consensus that this game kind of started pretty strong and stayed strong for a while and has started to very slowly decline in its last 7-8 hours? Because the last few times we've recorded, I feel like we've put in a lot of effort that this game has not put back towards us like we were getting early on.
Yeah.
Because early on we were getting some real good shit. And we've been kept bringing our A game and just not getting good material to work with and losing inspiration and recording shorter. And
I don't think that we've lost inspiration as much as the... Okay. We've lost inspiration. The game has given us no inspiration to work with.
Right.
But you're right. We've been on our A game. And this game's kind of like been coasting on its D game.
It's been coasting on its B minus. Although that fucking section with the goddamn elevators, that was a fucking F. That shit sucked.
Oh yeah, but we knew that was going to happen.
That was like an all-time bad video game level.
But that had to Alexandria.
Yes. Oh. Ugh.
Alexander, probably.
Yeah, Alexander. But we knew that was coming. Because there's always a part in every Final Fantasy game that's that part.
That sucks
Not
miserably.
really.
The Thunder Plains, or the...
The Thunder Plains were definitely not that bad.
Or all of 8.
There's no single part of 8 that's that bad. I think maybe the worst part is trying to find how to get to Salt Lake, and then when you figure it out, it turns out to have been pretty obvious the whole time. You just didn't think of it.
How could I not think of it?
I just had trouble getting anywhere in that game.
I think Final Fantasy IX, maybe the worst thing that happens is like being forced to work with like weird party configurations, but like, get good.
I never found like weird party configurations in 9. Just party members that I was like, dang, this person's cool, I want to use them. Dang, I like all of these people. Why can't I use all of them?
Right. Why
Shia
can't
LaBeouf did this little dance for victory. It's adorable, by the way.
it's like, why can't I just pick my favorites? And then at a certain point, you can pick your favorites for the rest of the game. It's very nice.
Oh, I just meant that they were all my favorites at one point.
Well, gameplay-wise, I wouldn't say that. As characters, I wouldn't necessarily disagree.
What do you want?
Hey, they want exactly the thing you just got. Oh,
That's-
thank God.
Good job, people.
Phew.
That completely mitigates the entire gimme gimme box.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of these gimme gimme boxes is,
The
except
gimme
for being
gimme
bullshit.
boxes is to
I think-
search around.
You know what? Maybe I got an idea.
God damn it!
Oh, okay.
What if the gimme gimme boxes are a form of level gating? To where, like, you won't get the drop until you've hit, like, a certain level?
It's not a drop. It's usually something in a chest.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It encourages exploration.
Yeah.
That's a bad way of encouraging exploration.
You know what else is a bad way of encouraging this game to continue? Whatever the fuck this is! Look at these horrible, disfigured monsters!
You mean the sister Taurus?
Not okay.
Taurus?
That's disgusting.
Reduce the HP. I'll try to reduce it and not kill it. I
Just
guess.
murder it. Do not
Okay.
catch that.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, it's just gross.
I
Not
know
okay.
They are, but
so here's the thing about the encouraging exploration, because I am fucking a goddamn expert on Final Fantasy level design. I'll tell you what.
And this game is not.
Well, this game's been better at it at some points, but, you know.
The layout of every single one of these dungeons is exactly
Okay,
the
yeah,
same.
you know, honestly, yeah, the dungeon designs have been very lazy. But what we're talking about here is like progression gating.
Yep.
Oh fuck!
God damn it, you caught it!
and I'm gonna name it after you,
Oh!
Sully Sylvester.
Solon.
I'm a sister tar.
Where was I?
We're not keeping it though, so you don't have to look at it.
I don't want to be a sister tar. I kind of want to be a sister tar.
Oh, fucking Final Fantasy dungeon design.
Yes, that is what you were just talking about.
You encourage people to explore, and the way you encourage people to explore is by giving them like stuff that you give them gifts, essentially. You know, you pay them to explore by giving them stuff that they wouldn't necessarily get otherwise, including in the most extreme examples, like, you know, weapons that you would have to otherwise pay for.
Yep.
Things like that.
Yep.
X potions, which are, you know, great fucking items, shit like that, big sums of money. You do all that to get people to explore, and part of the reason you do that is when you know the players explore the levels, they're definitely walking around enough to be leveled enough to face the game's challenges. It's a form of, you know, doing that. And it's a way of doing that that kind of subtly coerces them into doing the kinds of work that they might not otherwise do.
Well, they've failed spectacularly at that so far.
Right. The problem being here is that now you've made that other work that you don't... That work that you wouldn't usually want to do, that little extra bit of grinding, you know?
Yep.
That you know, going and getting that chest ends up making you do. Those 2 or 3 battles.
Yeah.
If the game's not feeding you any extra shit to make that matter.
Wow. This guy's hit hard.
Yeah.
Just eat it.
That's how, I mean... There's criticisms to be made about the history of RPG design tropes, because a lot of them just kind of center around feeding sugar
Feeding sugar.
to some degree. It, you know, watching numbers go up, all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But-
like the one app that Terry had us download and play for a couple days.
Like a roulette wheel.
Close.
Or a slot machine. Like a slot machine.
Yeah.
Well, like a slot machine that consistently every once in a while gave you your money back. You know? That sort of thing. So
Oh, you can work
there's-
on that.
So there's criticisms to be made there that are somewhat legitimate. But I mean,
Whee!
the Japanese roleplay games that have been most successful from a design standpoint have been the ones that do that. Have been the ones that, you know, pat you on the head for good behavior, essentially.
Head rubs would be nice. Oy.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, you know,
Aw, head rubs!
we don't we like
Thank you,
we got
QB.
we got that guy as an optional thing earlier, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to do that, but because we did, now we get to break open that thing, and just a few steps away is a treasure chest that probably has got like a nice item in it or something.
That's true.
You know, like that, you know, they got it. They get it right in that case, you know. But when you have literally the progression that's gated by having you making sure that you explore every fucking inch of the level, that just feels tedious because it's required as opposed to optional. Even though,
especially when things are behind the walls that only certain monsters can get by, because as Pokemon found out, HMs fucking suck.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Right. And
nobody uses them, and they suck.
Except for Fly.
You get into the situation like Silver and Gold had like your water Pokemon now has to have Surf and Whirlpool and Waterfall just so they can get anywhere in the game, and it was so sad.
It was garbage. Like Pokemon.
yeah,
Oh,
no kidding. Anyway,
hey, there we go.
Yep,
on top
there's...
of that, there was. What was the thing I said before you talked about Pokemon?
Well, we said at the beginning of this that like the game petered off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's had some nice set pieces in the meantime, but like some cutscenes that were cool.
And some fun boss fights.
So a couple fun boss fights, and we've also had a couple of cameos, but not nearly at the rate that a game like World of Final Fantasy should be at.
Right,
Yeah.
like I was promised like a much deeper level of canon fellatio. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
wanted this game to be much more shallow. It can be. Why not? Why shouldn't this game be super shallow?
Well, it's also it's not really interjecting that strong of its own character. Like for example, just look at the way that they've animated stuff. You know, like the laziness with which they've animated the bombs and the tonberries, and you know, I don't want to say like disrespected the fucking legacy of the franchise or whatever, but you know, it's like.
But I mean, this...
they're kind of clearly disinterested in their nostalgia thing, which is their whole gimmick.
Well, the laziness that you call it goes against its own mechanics. Well, I mean, if they were to be true, it would go against their own mechanics. In a lot of ways.
What do you mean?
Yeah, expound.
Because, for example, with the bombs, the mechanics is all about being small, medium, and large. If you have a bomb that's constantly expanding on a stack, completely topples everything.
That's true. That would have been a really strong gameplay mechanic. And then the tonberries just moving would cause their stacks to become different, you know,
Yep.
if there were tonberries of different size.
Exactly.
Or you could have stacks that move together, and then you could have like 3 little tonberries that could all stab you. Yeah,
Yep.
we just designed this game.
Fixed your game.
Yeah,
Squeenix.
sorry, you know, not to be an armchair designer, but seriously, that's easy shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised
How much time have we?
how non-versatile the game is.
What do you mean?
Like, it's just not a very flexible design system in a game where, I guess, Final Fantasy is not known for being, like, do whatever you want, whenever you want. But I kind of thought, like, this game totally could.
Here's
Whoever made this game does not think of World of Final Fantasy as a throwaway, like, just interim title.
Here's the thing about it.
They really wanted, like, this to be the shit.
Here's the thing, though.
Ow.
I think one of the things that feels really weak about this is the fact that we haven't really... I feel like we haven't put too much thought into our character setups and stuff like that. Like, we've just been going on instinct and...
QB's has a very diverse group here.
Yeah,
Now, I've
thank
been
you.
throwing him curveballs, like, use the fucking robot, and, hey, what about the 3-headed Hydra?
No, I'm just saying, like, we're not, you know, using a strategy guide and, like, super optimizing our shit here.
True.
You know?
Yeah, we're not optimizing our...
Yeah.
Like, now that... We would only be able to do that once we know every single person's loadout.
Right.
We've been doing a lot of exploration of what these loadouts are.
But the thing is that, like, despite as little as we know, we've already been able to, you know, we've been able to conquer this game as easily as we have. And that's, you know, something about Final Fantasy, some of the really great Final Fantasies that feel special from their design perspective is that special feeling that comes from playing the game multiple times and knowing that you had a much easier...
Oops!
And
It was at full health, so it doesn't
okay.
matter.
and knowing that you had a much easier time the second and third time because you knew what you were doing. optimizing your shit. FF8 is particularly great for that, which is one of the reasons, besides the plot that I always talked about, that makes it stick with me. Is like you can just optimize the shit out of it.
So much replayability.
I mean, yeah. There's just, I'm saying there's not, a level of challenge, here that's strong enough to encourage me to replay it, which was exactly your problem with Legend of Mana, as a reminder.
Wait, you don't?
No. That wasn't a problem with Legend of Mana. It being easy was a solution.
Dude, you told me you just, mashed X the whole game and that you were, bored. At least that's the impression I got.
I was bored of mashing X, but I was not bored of exploring the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, you can say that,
The combat mechanics could go, or went much deeper than I went. And I could have gone much deeper.
Is it still fair to say, at least, that, the complexity of the combat mechanics potentially here, which we have seen, exploited to their fullest in some boss fights, isn't it fair to say that on, a day-to-day basis with the mechanics, it feels like some of it goes unexploited?
Yeah.
Yeah, just that there's a wide disparity between the technicality of the major event fights and the smaller regular everyday fights.
Yeah. I don't feel like the random encounters are really building up to anything. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of like, oh, here's another.
Right.
We better hold the speed up button more.
Yep.
So, where do you want to end this? Austin, since we've spent the last 15 minutes shitting on this poor game, since we have done irrevocable damage to the Let's Play that we've created up to this point.
All I mean to say is that we've been enjoying this, and we've been enjoying the time we've spent together playing it. We've really treasured that. It's been a great fucking time.
That's true.
And the game has contributed strongly to our ability to have the fun time that we're having, even at its lowest points. I just wanted to make a note that, if you're watching this and feeling like, boy, this game's really not living up to the standards it might have set earlier, and those standards weren't even that high compared to what my expectations were, then I can say that, yes, we as a group kind of, empathize with you there, that we feel at least a little bit disappointed.
All right. Oh, shit, it's got a frog on top of it.
Oh, good.
And suddenly that makes, everything worse.
And we can come back to this later, but we can just go back to the fact, again, going into next episode, we can just talk about the fact that there's just not that much reverence for the stories. Actually, that's not true. But that part of the game, that's another case of the game starting doing it well, and then slowing down and then not doing it well. Anyway, we'll talk about that again.
Yeah. How about tomorrow we come back and we'll talk about some of the other story elements and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you're on fire. You're on fire. I love it, Jaeger boy.
I'm on fire.
Wait till 2 episodes.
Wait till 2 episodes. I can't wait. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone, on Sully Sylvester, the Cubic Kid, and the Jaeger boy.